This program was created especially for JCPL by Vinny yoga therapist Samantha Leonard, who has over 20,000 hours of education and experience addressing structural, mental, emotional, physiological, and neurological conditions through therapeutic breath and movement. If you would like to learn more, visit Samantha online at davidsonyogatherapy.com or check out some of these resources available at JCPL.
Hi again, Sam here with Davidson Yoga Therapy at the Yoga Bunker, the post-COVID operations center of Davidson Yoga Therapy. And I am here today to offer you a practice for stress reduction. I am feeling it now. The pulsations out there in this universe, in this world are they're wacky, they're violent, the ground has been ripped out from underneath our feet, and change is a wonderful thing, but change can feel very stressful. It can feel very scary. So if you just sort of like conceptually know that you have stress, but you don't really understand what it's doing to your body, let me just take a moment and ask you a few questions. Are you having trouble winding down at night, sleeping at night? Do you have trouble shutting your brain off? Do you wake up at night frequently, have trouble going back to sleep? Either of those two or both. Is your digestion messed up? Do you feel like you just can't eat the same foods that you used to eat? All of a sudden there's something new that you're having a strong reaction to. Do you ever forget to breathe? Do you find yourself catching colds or feeling allergies like way more than you ever used to? Do you feel fatigued? Do you feel foggy-headed? Do you have crying spells? Do you feel sad? Do you feel angry? Are you anxious? There's a million ways that stress affects our nervous systems, our whole bodies. And, you know, we can definitely take medications for our stress. We can definitely ease our stress with food and booze and exercise. You know, we can do all of that, and it's some of it's avoidance and some of it is avoidance, but it's good for you. What I'm proposing here today is to offer a practice to help you shift out of that physiological state of stress. And when we shift out of the physiological state of stress, you find that the thoughts and the feelings kind of shift as well. And this is the science of yoga therapy. And we're going to do it through movement. It's going to be breath-centric movement. And then we're going to finish off with a pranayama practice. And I hope that you remember the pranayama practice so that you can continue to use it throughout your day whenever you feel activated, right? Because it's going to dampen down that activation. And overall, this is going to build over time, and it builds like an antibiotic in your immune system. So practice often, and reach out if you have any questions. All right, so we'll begin. You'll see me referring to my stick figure cheat sheet because it's something that I wrote down this morning. Because every yoga practice has to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you don't know where you're going to end up. So I'm going to bring my yoga mat here. I'm going to lie flat. I'm going to give myself a tiny pillow just because I feel like I need that support. I just feel like I need that support under my neck. And, you know, stress can manifest in the back, especially in the low back. We can feel it. So if you have a tweaky low back, this might be the position for you to start in and to remain in if you need to, with the knees bent and the feet flat. And I've got my knees together and my feet apart, and That helps me flatten my low back out just a little bit. And I'm going to start here, but then I'll stretch out my legs, and you're welcome to join me to do that if you'd like. You definitely don't have to. This is adaptive yoga. So find yourself lying on a surface. And if you can close your eyes, just take a moment to observe, whatever is coming up for you first. And it may be the sounds of your environment, or it may be that you're observing an internal buzzing, an activation. I'm going to guide your mind to different places to put it for a few moments before we begin moving. So the first thing I want to do is guide you to place your mind on the fact of the breath right at the tip of your nose. And for 2 breaths, just notice the sensation there. Notice how easy it is or how hard it is to put your mind there. Just using this as an assessment tool, finding out where we're at. And now please drop your attention down to the center of your chest, and for 2 or 3 deeper, more rhythmic breaths, feel how and if the chest expands and how it contracts on exhale. Notice how easy or hard it is for you to keep your attention here, or to even to feel something. This area tends to get very, very tight when we are stressed. That shallow, high, tight breathing. So a couple more breaths. Just see if you can stretch your breath open a little bit more, just with your inhale. Get a little bit more movement. And now I'm going to ask you to drop your attention into the center of your belly and direct your breath down into the belly so that you feel the belly open on inhale. And when you exhale, you feel the belly drop. And now see if you can get just a little bit more movement in the belly. Notice, of course, how hard or easy it is for you to do this. Directing the mind can be hard when we're activated. So fill your belly and then let the breath relax back out. Wonderful. So just take note for a moment where you felt it was most easy or most difficult to focus and to feel. We're going to be directing the breath down into the belly in this next adaptation of the asana. So if you can stretch your legs out, it's not necessary. You don't need to stretch your legs out if your low back is pretty tweaky. And on the next inhale, go ahead and raise both arms up to the floor above your head and stretch through both of your heels. And then as you exhale, lower your arms down to your sides. Good. Now the next time you do this, I want you to count the duration of your inhale and exhale. So it would look something like this, or sound something like this. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your count may be different, totally fine. Let's begin, and we'll do it 4 more times. Inhale, the arms lift, the chest expands, and you're counting. Exhale, the arms lower, the ankles relax, and you are counting. Again, inhale and exhale. 2 more times at your count. See if you can regulate your breath. It might feel a little fast, it might feel a little slow. The important thing is we're regulating the breath of a worried animal, of a stressed out animal. That's you, talking about you. All right, wonderful. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do contralateral movement. We're going to move the right arm and the left heel. If you're at your knees bent, just move the right arm and maybe lift the left toes, okay? And use your count. We'll do it 4 times. Let's see if we can grow the count by 1 or 2 by the time we're finished. Please begin. Right arm, left ankle. And maybe grow it by 1 or 2 counts. Good. Relax your body, relax your mind, let your breath settle. And just take a moment to think about the sensations of the right arm and the left leg versus the sensations of the left arm and leg. All right, and now we're going to do the other side. We're going to do the left arm and the right ankle, okay? So start with any count that's comfortable, and over 4 repetitions, try and build it 1, 2, maybe even 3 counts. Begin, please. Inhale. Exhale. Don't forget to grow it if you can. One last time, your biggest count. Good. Take a moment to let your mind and your body and your breath settle. Notice the sensations of the left arm and the right leg. It's a cross body. Notice the sensations of the right arm and the left leg crossed. And now notice the sensations from your shoulders down to your toes. Good. All right. We're going to do all 4 limbs at the same time again. This time you're going to do it about 4 times with your biggest count, right? So if you started at 4 and you got to 8, let's see if we can start at, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. And as you raise your arms and flex at the ankles, breathe into your belly, right? So make your belly go way up, and then exhale and let it all come down for your count. All right, let's give it a try. 4 times. biggest count on your last repetition. And then hold your breath in for about 2 or 3 seconds with your belly expanded. And then exhale and lower your arms and rest, rest, rest. Internalize your focus and notice the sensations wrapping around your muscles and your bones. The sensations flowing through your, like just visualize those little tubes of your nervous system. Visualize the nerve impulse, the pulsing through the body. See if it's shifting slightly. All right, go ahead and bend your knees if they aren't bent already, and let's bring knees into hands. And then we're going to, inhale here with your arms straight. And as you exhale, draw the knees into your body. And we'll do this 3 more times. Notice if you're still counting your breath. I didn't ask you to. Breathe into your belly as you inhale, and as you breathe out, hug the belly toward the floor. So when you straighten your arms and you breathe in, the belly expands. When you exhale, the belly starts to hug down to the floor and you draw your knees in. Let's do that one more time. Straighten the arms, the belly expands. And as you exhale, the belly hugs down to the floor, you draw your knees in. Now hold your knees in. You can wrap them a little tightly. And we're going to take 4 breaths into the belly. So balloon the belly open. And on exhale, just let it fall back into place. Use your biggest count here. Squeezing the knees in. Let's just do 1 more breath. Biggest count ever. Hold the breath in for 2 or 3 seconds with the belly ballooning. And then exhale. Let everything go back down. Bring your feet down, bring your arms down to your sides. Come to that initial resting position with your knees together and your heels apart. Notice the sensations across the body. Notice the sensations from your shoulders down to your toes. Notice the sensations of your belly. All right. We're going to turn over. We're going to do a couple more asanas. So come to hands and knees, please. I'm going to do an asana called Chakra Vakasana. Chakra Vakasana means ruddy goose, and I do not know what that means. I don't profess to know. Don't need to know. And here's how this pose is going to go. If you don't know it already, we're going to inhale at hands and knees. And then as you exhale, go ahead and practice with me. You're going to hug the belly in, and the back is going to arch, and you're going to sink back towards child's pose, dropping the elbows and the forehead and the bottom. Okay? As you inhale, come back to hands and knees. And as you exhale, pull the belly in, arch the spine toward the sky, and drop back, bringing down your elbows and your forehead and your bottom. Now we're going to do that a few more times. We're going to count the inhale. It can be just a steady 6 count, for instance. You're going to count the inhale as you come forward. And at the top of the inhale, sip in just a tiny bit more breath and drop your chin and hold your breath in for 2 seconds. And then while you're in this position, you're going to exhale, hug the belly in, and you're going to go back. Now your exhale is going to be longer, and that's great. Count it, all right? We'll do it probably 8 times to give everybody a really good chance to practice this breath-centered movement. So from child's pose, let's all inhale and come forward. Count your breath in. Maybe it's a 4, 6, or 8. Drop your chin into that little divot between your collarbones. Hold your breath in for 2, 1, and then exhale. Hug the belly in as you're exhaling, slowly back. Arch and move towards child's pose. So you're stretching the back out as you go back. Let's try that again. Inhale and come forward to hands and knees. Sip in a little bit more air as you're counting. Hold the breath in for 2, 1, and then exhale back. So that was 2 times. Let's let you go through it about 6 more times, and I'll be here to model it if you need to look. I'm just going to give a few more cues. As you inhale and come forward to hands and knees, the shoulder blades slide down the back. The chest is open. And then you just cinch up into a tabletop as you're holding your breath in. And then you exhale and arch. Push into the heels of your hands so you stretch the low back as you go back. So you might feel, here's an example count, that you're inhaling for 6 as you come forward, that you're holding in for 2 at tabletop, and that you're exhaling for 8 or 10 or 12. That is not your count. I don't want you to fret. Your focus would be just on stretching the low back and adding a little hold, just a tiny retention before you exhale and stretch your back out. I'm going to let you do that 1 or 2 more times, please. And when you're finished with your 2 times, please go ahead and sit up. I'm going to change the camera angle. You will go ahead and just sit back for a moment. Let yourself settle. Let your mind settle, let your breath settle, all of your efforts settle. And internalize your focus and notice the pulsations, the sensations. You visualize the tubes of your nervous system and the information flowing through. What does that feel like? All right, please join me at standing. Let's see, I think that's a pretty good angle right there. I'm going to do a pose that's similar to the one we did when we were lying flat on the ground. We'll start with the symmetrical version. Let me just turn this up a little bit more. There. So I can teach you the basic pose. This is called Tadasana. And if you're unsteady on your feet, I want you to hold on to a chair and do one arm lifting at a time, because we're going to be lifting up onto our toes. Right? If you're sitting in a chair, you can sit in a chair and just lift up onto your toes and raise your arms as high as you like. All right, but here's just the standard posture, which goes like this. Inhale, the chest expands as you sweep your arms out and up and lift up onto your toes. And then exhale as you bring your arms down. The heels hit and the belly kind of hugs in a little bit there for a feeling of groundedness. Let's do that 4 more times. Inhale, chest expands. Exhale and lower. Now begin to count your breath on the next repetition. It's not going to be the same as when you were on the floor. Inhale and exhale. And we're looking for an equal inhale, exhale again. So something that feels like you could repeat it for a while and you wouldn't get fatigued. We'll do it one more time. Good. Take a moment. You can roll around in the soles of your feet. Are you able to feel the mounds of the big toe, the big toes? Can you feel the centers of your heels? And then can you go in the opposite direction? Feel the connections of your bones to the surface that you stand on. That'll probably give you just a little bit more stability as we do the next adaptation, which is a contralateral adaptation. So follow me here. We're going, here's the example. We're going to inhale and raise the arms halfway up. You're going to continue to inhale and one arm goes all the way up and I'm up on my toes. And then as I exhale, I'm going to bring this arm halfway down, finish exhaling as I bring my arms all the way down. And then the next the next side we'll do, this is again an example, inhale halfway up, and the opposite arm goes all the way up as I finish the inhale. Exhale halfway down, and then both arms come down. Okay? Counting equal inhale, exhale. Let us begin. Three more times each side. Increase your count by 1 or 2 for this next repetition. And you can increase again by 1 or 2 or stay at this new count for this last. Pause for a moment. Allow your mind and your breath and your body to settle. At this point in the practice, you might feel a little more activated, but in different ways. And that's intentional. The purpose of this practice was to bring up your mind and your body and your physiology together. And now the rest of the practice will be to slowly bring them down, all three together. So Let's come back down to hands and knees, please. Okay. We're going to do the same pose that we did before, Chakravakasana. And let's just do it free breath. Only I do want you to hold your breath in for 2 seconds at the top of at the tabletop position. So I'll go through it with you, and we'll do it 6 times. So you're just going to inhale, and you don't have to bother counting. But do hold your breath in for 2 seconds. And intentionally exhale through a slightly closed throat. It's like you're going to sigh your exhale out through your nose. Inhale, come forward to hands and knees. Just hold the breath in for 2 seconds before you release the valve of your throat, slowly exhaling back to child's pose. Please do that 4 more times. Inhaling to hands and knees, hold the breath in short, 2 seconds. And then you just release the valve of the throat and the air seeps out. And you go slowly back to child's pose. And if you want to linger in child's pose at the bottom of the exhale, you can. But really try and relax as much as you can into this particular pose. Not as detailed as the last time we did it. Let this be your last repetition, and rest in child's pose. While you're in child's pose, sense the ground beneath you, beneath your shins, beneath your forearms. Sense the ground beneath your forehead. And if your forehead isn't reaching the ground, you can get a brick or a blanket or a book to rest your head. So if you're resting right on the center of your forehead, I want you to open your inner eye and look up toward that spot and direct your breath in and out through that spot. And imagine that you're drawing the breath in through that spot on your forehead down into the deepest parts of your body. And imagine that you're exhaling from the deepest parts of your body out through the center of your forehead. And if you're having trouble feeling the center of your forehead, you can actually roll your head around on the surface. You can tap your forehead on the surface to increase sensation and awareness of that area. It's an acupressure point, and it's extremely effective. We're going to do a pose on our bellies, so come up from child's pose. I'm going to make sure you have a blanket, because lying flat on a surface on your belly can be problematic for people's low backs. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put my belly right in the center of this blanket, and I'm going to lay my arms down by my sides. Before we even begin, there is under no circumstances any reason for you to push down and lift up into this, okay? It's about lifting with your back muscles, right? So go ahead and bring your forehead to the floor. Actually, go ahead and bring your forehead down on your forearms. Make a pillow out of your forearms. And take 3 or 4 breaths down into your belly and feel your belly expand. And contract. And then see if you can intentionally breathe down into your belly a little bit more. Okay, we're going to be doing this in an asana called Bhujangasana or Cobra. Please bring your forehead to the floor and your forearms are out to your sides. And on an inhale, just breathe into your belly while you're down here. And then as you exhale, lift up with your back muscles. The arms are just there on the floor. And while you're lifted, go ahead and breathe in again and balloon your belly on the floor. And then as you exhale, come on down and rotate your head so that you can lay on one cheek and be relaxed as you breathe in and feel your belly expand against the floor. As you exhale, go ahead and lift with your back muscles. Bring your head to the center. Lifting on exhale. Inhale, stay, balloon the belly. Exhale, lower and turn your head opposite. Come to rest your cheek and your body on the floor, so that when you inhale, you can focus on the ballooning of the belly. As you exhale, lift with your back muscles, turn your head back to the center. As you're lifted, inhale and feel the belly open against the floor. We'll do this one more time each side. Exhale, turn your head in the opposite direction, come to rest. Your mind is in your belly. Inhale and open it. Exhale and lift back to the center. Remember, you're not pushing down with your arms. Inhale, stay, balloon the belly. Exhale, turn your head. As you're relaxed, go ahead and inhale and balloon the belly. This will be the last time. Please come back to the center as you lift with your back only, head center. One more breath into your belly, make it count. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bring your arms down in front of you and make a pillow out of your forearms. Rest your head. Just take a few more breaths into your belly, into your back. And then bring your hands under your shoulders, push yourself up to hands and knees. And I'm just going to have you turn over onto your sides. Onto your backs, excuse me. And let's just pause here at the beginning pose, this beginning resting pose. Knees together, feet apart, arms at your sides. Notice what you notice. Feel the ground beneath you. Go ahead and direct your attention to the fact of the breath at the center of, at the nostrils, at the tip of the nose. Feel the sensation of breath there for 2 cycles. And notice how difficult or how easy it is to maintain that focus. Drop your attention to the center of your chest and see how the chest expands and contracts with the breath in and out. And just see how easy or difficult it is for you to keep your mind right there and to feel something. And now drop your attention to the center of your belly. Balloon the belly on the inhale. And as you exhale, let it relax back down. Notice how difficult or easy it is to place your mind here and to feel the sensations around the belly. We're going to do one last asana. That's something we did at the beginning, but we're going to illustrate through this asana the kind of breath work that I want you to be able to take with you after this practice is through. Okay? So one knee in each hand, please. And you are going to count your inhale and your exhale for a few repetitions. They don't have to be even, but it would be nice if the exhale, if it's not even, if the exhale was longer than the inhale. That's important, okay? So we'll start with arms extended, and go ahead and breathe into your body. Breathe into your chest and your belly and count. Maybe it's 4. And then as you exhale, hug the knees in. Maybe your exhale is 4 or 6 or 8. These are just examples. Let's do that 4 more times. Focusing on the count. Listening to the quality of your exhale. Last time. Now, we're going to add that small 2 to 3 second retention. Resist the urge to go longer than 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, so add that to your existing count for 4 repetitions. So you'll inhale, and the inhale might feel a little bit more assertive than it did before because of the retention. Then you're going to retain. And then after the retention, you're going to open the valve of your throat and let the exhale seep out more slowly so that you feel a resonance in the back of your throat. And now we're going to keep going, but this time the inhale will remain the same. We're going to hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and then we're going to try and grow the exhale. Okay? So let's inhale for our count. Maybe the count changes. It's okay. Hold for 2 or 3 seconds. Release the valve of the throat. Let your breath ease out, counting. And see if the breath wants to grow longer. Good. And notice that, as you have more time exhaling, you have more time to hug the knees in, you have more time to feel the stretch in the low back, you have more time to hug the belly in, you have more time to feel things when you're breathing out more slowly. You're less wrapped up in that forward momentum and you can be more present. Go ahead and bring your feet back down to the original resting position, knees together, arms at your sides. Take a moment to settle. Take a moment to internalize your focus and just visualize all the systems of your body. And if you can visualize the tubes that make up the central nervous system through which all that information is flowing. How's that information flowing now? Does it feel more balanced? Does it feel even the slightest bit soothed from when you started your practice? Go ahead and just stay there on the floor for a minute. As while you're lying there, I'm going to reinforce this breathing pattern, and you can do it with me. You're going to inhale and count your inhale, and the example count is 4. At the top of your 4-count inhale, you'll hold your breath in for 2 seconds. You'll slowly release the valve of the exhale, and you'll exhale out for longer than 4. Maybe it's 6. And you'll repeat that. You'll repeat that until your exhale grows longer and longer and longer. And maybe it grows so long that it's a 12. Maybe it's a 4, 2, 12 kind of a breath. That means your exhale is, 4 times, it's 3 times longer than your inhale. And when you're breathing like that, you are, or you're becoming, one relaxed cookie. So imagine if you could employ this practice throughout your day. Imagine if you could use this practice before you go to sleep at night. When you wake up in the middle of the night and your mind is trying to solve the world's problems. Imagine you could employ this practice. You could divert your attention, flex your mind muscle, and put it on counting the breath to influence your physiology, to influence the direction of your mind, to fall back asleep. The practice of movement is there to help us develop the 4 parts of the breath, and it's the breath that really is the potent medicine in all of this. I thank you for joining me. Wishing you and yours peace within, peace without. We'll see you next time.